Hello folks, it is I, Noob Mister. We are back once again with the Game Time podcast, where we talk about life, gaming, and all that good stuff in between. And I think I might still have my microphone just a little bit too loud. Sorry, I'm trying to be the best sound engineer I can, but I'm failing kind of badly here. I don't know one thing from another when it comes to sound stuff, so all that I know is that if it peaks red, that's too loud. But anyway, I am once again being joined by Mike Set, who is laughing at my ineptitude at sound engineering.
Yeah, well, laughing, but also helping, so there's a compromise there, right?
True. Yes, true. Just watching the game and having a
has finally woken up to participate into the, well, podcast.
Yeah, because he came home from work earlier and decided, I'm gonna take a nap. That was about, what, 7 hours ago?
Yes, and, well, it was either I was going to try and stay awake and then do the podcast thing sounding like a fucking zombie, or I was going to possibly miss the podcast or be late for it, but at least I'll be somewhat refreshed. I prefer to sound like someone who's waking up rather than someone who's on the verge of... Yeah.
True. So that was what was going on in his life.
Yeah. My sleeping routine's messed up again, but I kind of prefer this. I'm dead tired and I fall asleep sooner than usual, rather than staying up all night.
Why, what time is it for you at the moment, then?
It is currently 3:48 a.m., and I woke up when it was 2 a.m.
Wow. And what time did you fall asleep? Like I said, it was about 7 hours ago. I think.
That's when I went to sleep.
So you haven't actually eaten anything yet?
Well, now that you got me thinking about it, now I'm getting the hunger pains. But
I probably shouldn't.
I got some fresh snags from the butcher's yesterday, so I'll just cook those after.
Cool.
Basically a translation for sausage.
Cool. So yeah, Mike Set's sleeping routine is out of whack. I actually, the funny thing is, I haven't really been sleeping that well either recently. I don't know why, but I keep waking up at like sort of 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then can't get back to sleep again.
Yeah, my sleeping routine's in this mode at the moment because of that other night when I slept. Damn it, words. But I slept for, I think, only 3 hours or so. And for some reason, when I woke up early, way early, it was about 4 a.m., still a while until my alarm clock goes off, I could not get back to sleep. I actually felt well rested, but I knew for a fact, because of how long I slept for, that's going to catch up with me. So, go to sleep! But it didn't. So, yeah. As expected, when I got home from work, I was like, I must sleep.
I must sleep.
Oh, hey, random life question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to a butcher's?
I don't, but my mum does, and then I just pay her back for whatever she buys for me. Because here's the thing, folks. If you ever go and buy stuff from a butcher's, I guarantee you cannot go back to supermarket stuff ever again. Because I got bacon from this particular butcher that my mum goes to once, and I'd run out and I needed something to do for a sausage casserole that I do, because I put bacon in my sausage casseroles. And I just tried using some store-bought ones from the local supermarket, and it was just water. There was just, like, nothing to it. You put it in and, like, all that, you know, that sort of strange white stuff that you get on the top of bacon
fat?
when you, yeah, that kind of, no, not the fat. It's sort of, once you start cooking it, there's sort of like this strange sort of like, almost like white substance that sort of starts to congeal on the top of the bacon.
I think that is still fat. I can't remember, but it's the soft part of the meat.
Maybe, but this bacon that I get from the butcher that my mum goes to, it doesn't do that. But the minute I started trying to do it with this stuff that I bought from the supermarket, I was just like, ew, that's not.
Well, that's preservatives for you.
Probably. I'm guessing you obviously don't do preservatives and stuff in America. America? You're Australian. What am I talking about?
Yeah, get the nationality right, mate.
I'll leave. I'm going. Goodbye. I am an idiot.
Yeah, I've only just recently mostly been getting stuff from the butcher. The only thing I've been getting from the butchers lately is just that salami I really goddamn like, including even some of the spicy versions too. I like how you can distinguish between the hot and the regulars just because of the string that ties them together. It has a little red strip if it's a hot one.
I've never really liked salami, even though I like sausages. I don't know what it is.
Hungarian's my favorite.
I think it's just the consistency, or maybe I've just never really eaten salami before. I don't know.
Well, if you do, get a sausage salami, and what I mean by that is in like a whole sausage for you to chop up yourself.
Mm.
And get them from a butcher.
Oh, that's
can't go wrong.
Given the fact that we were talking about pizzas last week, that's just given me an idea. I could put that on top of a pizza. On the top of a pepperoni pizza, stick that in the oven. Oh, delicious. It'll sound delicious.
Yeah, I've been looking at some more of the stuff that the butcher has. I was really shocked about the amount of different types of sausages. Well, snags anyway. I just decided to get the regular beef ones, but I'm thinking of trying the chicken one. There were some lamb ones, and I forgot what the other one was. I think they even had a kangaroo
Probably
snag.
pork.
Yeah, pork. There we go.
You've never tried pork sausages before?
Probably I have, but yeah. The only reason why I probably haven't tried half of these ones is because they're usually fat sausages. I really like the thin ones.
So obviously sort of more like a salami thing then.
Maybe. It's just that, again, half of those other different types of sausages are just really, really fat, and I prefer just a regular bite size. And
now I like chunky sausages. Chunky sausages are good.
Speaking of snags and meat in general, do you like having any of your meat cold after it's cooked? Not raw, cold.
Not really, especially when it comes to things like... I don't mind pork so much, because I've eaten, like, cocktail sausages before, and they've obviously been pre-cooked. You know, I don't mind eating those so much.
What about rissoles?
I don't know. For some strange reason, I just find cold meat to just have a really different texture than when it's cooked, and it just tastes a bit slimy to me, and I'm just like, bleh, no.
Well, that's if it's overly, if it's got way too much of its dry fat on it. But if you do what I do, I learned this from mom and dad's habits. When I put them in a container, I first put a paper towel in and above, so it soaks it all in.
Yeah, that's
when
usually a
cools
good
down.
idea.
And yeah, me and mom tend to have leftover rissoles or sausages cold rather than reheating them up, and they reheat well. But I like how Dad's the one that goes, "Why do you two eat them like that?" But yeah, it's like a quick meat, a quick meat snack. You just grab it out of the fridge, and plus, since it's not hot or anything, you can just grip it by your two little fingers. Oh, actually, the finger and the thumb.
Well,
Correction.
I can't eat expensive snacks like that at the moment. I've just been buying an extra carrot when I go shopping on a Monday and just chopping that up into pieces and eating that instead. So,
speaking of vegetables and whatnot, and well, this is more of the fruit type, but favorite apple. Oh, did I ask this last podcast?
No, you didn't. I think it's like a Royal Gala apple.
Me, I goddamn love Pink Lady apples. I
like
always
them
buy
as well, but they're usually a bit too... I always find those to be a bit too big, and I think they're a little bit more sweeter than a Royal Gala.
Oh, well, funny enough, I noticed that in the market when I went there to get the apples again, they had different sizes. They had the ones that you could just pick by hand, but they had these sorted ones size-wise. Basically two of them. Regulars and snack size, where they're basically the smaller ones, about like probably the size of your palm, or maybe smaller.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know you can get. I know you can get like fun. We call them fun-sized bananas over here. There's probably an innuendo in there somewhere, but.
Well, the same goes for sausages too.
Yeah, I said that. I realized it earlier when I said I love thick sausages. I thought somebody's gonna make an innuendo out of that, aren't they? So
it's too easy to make innuendos.
It's basically sausages, bananas. It's just too easy to make sex jokes out of them.
Oh, hey, speaking of banana,
Yeah.
what do you like having your banana with, or do you like having it on its own?
I just generally tend to eat them on their own, but it depends on how ripe they are. Because if they're still green, like what I had last week, that was horrible.
That's why, especially in the hot weathers, I try to pick the greenest ones I can, because usually by tomorrow or the next day after, they're fully ripe.
Yeah.
But as for me, I always love having my banana sliced up with my Vitabrits.
I don't tend to eat bananas on cereal all that often, but one thing I will say that that's good to do with bananas is make your own milkshakes. But there's a little trick to making a really good milkshake, is to leave them until they start going a bit brown. Because that's when you get a really good, when their flavour really starts to come out, and it's like, really good milkshakes.
And speaking of milkshakes and whatnot, have you ever had a spider drink?
A spider drink?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember if that's just a thing, if that's a thing over here, or if
It
it's worldwide,
probably might be, considering the number of venomous spiders you've got, so...
I know, I don't like the name of it either, me being arachnophobic, but dear God. My favorite is lime spiders. You basically take a fizzy drink, pour it into a glass, or, before you do that, pop in a scoop or two of vanilla ice cream.
That sounds like a root beer. A root beer float.
I guess that's what you call it over there. Yeah, root beer float.
I don't know if we call it something different over here, but in America, I'm pretty sure that's called a root beer float.
Yeah, over here we'll call them spider drinks. Hang on. I'm gonna Google that up. You talk about what ones you've had, if you have at all.
I'm probably never had one, if I could never remember, but I don't like fizzy drinks, so, or anything carbonated for that matter, so I probably would have never have had one. I'm perfectly fine having ice cream on its own in a sundae or anything like that, but if
ice cream float seems to be the general name of it.
So a general ice cream float.
Well, root beer float, I believe, is, well, beer
root beer, yeah. I've never actually drunk root beer. I wonder if it's actually made out of a root.
Okay, here we are. So the name is in Australia and New Zealand, we call them spider drinks.
Ah.
Mainly because the foam has a web-like reaction.
Oh. Okay, then.
And there we are, lime spider. Hold on, I'm going to give you a picture.
You have picture of this.
I am going to fuck this. Sorry, an old Smek show, like it's the engineers.
I actually did that for I was before we were doing the podcast. While I was waiting for you, I was trying to put together a sound file to do another gameplay or another animation disguised as gameplay disguised as animation.
I'm sorry, I made the unfortunate decision of searching images of spider drink, and I am getting plenty of the frothy ones, but I'm still getting just pictures of spiders. There's one with all the eyes up close. I'm closing this.
Close it down. Close it down.
I did. This is all you're getting.
I think he freaked out a little. But yeah, as I was saying, I was before we did the podcast. While I was waiting for you, I was doing another sort of audio track for another gameplay disguised as animation video, which was voted for by channel members. Hint, hint.
Oh.
And at one point I made the heavy say, "I have picture of this. Now I will put this on the internet."
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. Although by the time this podcast goes out, the animation will probably be out, so you will most likely have seen what I was talking about. But until then, it is just a complete mystery.
Hang on. Hey, future me, how was it? Really?
He will now put a comment in the thing down below telling him how it was.
Yeah. Okay. Past Noob Mister, don't forget. Oh, or in this case, present Noob Mister, don't forget to remind future me to do just that. Okay.
But what about past you? But that would then be past you that I would then have to be reminding your future self of to then the past. Time travel's confusing!
No, you were supposed to say, oh, now I've gone cross-eyed.
Why does everything taste like copper? Okay.
Okay, sorry. One more Austin Powers reference. Wait a minute. It kind of looks like a baby. Come here, I'm gonna eat ya! I'm bigger than you, I'm higher in the food chain! Get in my belly!
And that was what you pretty much heard around every single school around the UK when that film came out.
Fucking love Austin Powers.
Yeah. I wonder if
I
they
gotta
will ever
watch
make another one.
I've got the whole bloody collection, actual on DVD. Speaking of which, I got something to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to take a good look at your PC tower for me. Now,
Yeah.
look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, answer me this: how often have you ever used the disk drive?
Once or twice. Because I'm too lazy to go over to move like 2 feet to my left to go and watch DVDs on my television, which has got a built-in DVD player. I tend to just pick the stuff out and put it in the DVD player on my hard drive on my tower thing.
Yeah, and that's another question for everyone. It's especially those that main Steam or other applications for digital games and whatnot. Everyone who's listening to this, how often have you ever used that disk drive? Does it even get used that much?
aside from aside for the use of DVDs or something?
Yeah.
Because that's a good point. I can't actually remember the last time I ever put a game disc into that thing.
I remember the
only
times when
ever-
VHSs became obsolete. I even remember before they became obsolete, a long time ago before that. But me and my mom and dad had this our favorite VHS player that automatically rewinds. It has this button where it automatically rewinds unbelievably fast until it gets close to the very end, and then it stops and then ejects the tape.
Yeah. Of course, you don't really need to do that with DVD players unless I can interest you in a DVD rewinder. I still can't believe that was actually a real thing. That somebody
I do,
actually tried. Because I've seen pictures of it.
Wait. Pictures of what?
A DVD rewinder.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the VHSs.
Who could be gullible enough to buy a DVD rewinder?
I don't know. Rare replay. Sorry, that was a bad attempt at a joke.
I didn't even get what the joke was.
It was just because of the name. Replay.
Oh. Oh, okay. I've got no
Big
idea
bad.
what he's on about, folks, so don't worry, I'm just as confused as you are.
It's basically a collection of rare games from the past.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yes, I actually think I might have, no, the one I've got, which was for, Neverwinter Nights, and I think maybe Hitman. I don't know whether you can still hear me clearly. I think they were part of a series called, Sold Out or something. Hang on. Where's the one thing?
Speaking of which, I remember when, I can't remember if this was Rare or whatnot, but, as in the company, but I remember when my nephew, found, Battletoads, played a little bit of it, and,
Then promptly raged quit.
No. We were having fun. We did the whole Infinite Lives cheat and whatnot. And then me and Tom just looked at each other and we were like, it's just not the same without the lag and whatnot and the sound struggling with each other because, well, since it's on that Xbox or whatever it was that was playing, you didn't have that charm. So we just decided, you know what? Come with us. So we got out the old Super Nintendo and got it working. We remembered that we had to plug it into the Game Genie to get it to work for some reason. It stopped reading the cartridges unless it was attached to a Game Genie.
It was probably because they were either A, bootleg, or region locked, I'm guessing.
No, because it did work by itself a long time ago. And they were legit copies. But anyways, it was a blast of the past to actually play that. I still can't believe the cartridges still work.
Yes.
How often do discs still work after that amount of time has passed?
I don't know.
We
I
even
do.
got out our old Nintendo. We have the SNES, the regular Nintendo, which we were just talking about, and yeah, they all still work.
Things were obviously built to last back then.
And we even got the Zapper to work because thankfully the TV that they were hooked up to was one of those old ones. It was,
Yeah, because you can't use them on LCD
Plasma
screens.
screen.
You can't use them on flat screens anymore because I think the way that the gun works is it's based off the reflection from the TV that it uses to then work out where the
That's why the screen flashes white.
Mm,
It doubled as both an effect and as for a tracking thing, I believe.
yeah.
I mean, I believe Stress Level Zero understood that, and that's why when they did the Duck season, that Duck Hunt VR thing, that's why they had the screen flash to be, that little detail.
That little bit more authentic, despite the fact that, the dog comes out and then tries to kill you.
Still
level of authentication. Not authentication.
Okay, if you want to play Twister, okay, but don't play Tongue Twister with me, okay? You're gonna lose.
That and I spat everywhere. Ugh.
Oh my god, there's spit everywhere.
What was that from again? I can't remember.
The after credits of was it?
It was a G.
Perverted Adventures of Renamon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Despo Shido, I think.
Yeah, that one. And that was in response to a couple of comments he'd gotten from some actual rabid Renamon fans.
And furry community.
Yeah.
Takes one to know one.
Anyway, let's stop talking about life. Let's get on to the gaming side of things. The thing that most people are probably here to actually listen to us talk about. So,
but come on, the whole fruit thing had to be a good one.
I guess, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, Mikey boy, any games that you have been playing lately?
Once again, not really, but I do understand that you've got a little something new to your collection.
Oh, yes, I did. I mentioned during my last podcast that I was kicking myself that I did not get a free Steam code through my Chrono.gg partnership, which you can help support by going to the link down below, chrono.gg/noobmister, and getting a game through there. That helps support me because some of the... Yes, I know!
Keep going.
But yeah, I was kicking myself that I didn't get a code for a game called Angels Fall First. It is essentially what Battlefield 2 was trying to be, but this has been developed by a group of literally 2 or 3 developers. But it's been in early access for about 4 years at this point, but it is about 100 times better. And I was really annoyed that I hadn't gotten a code from that. Logged on yesterday, and Steam popped up and just went, "Oh hey, one of your friends has just gifted you a copy of it." I was just like, cool, I know what I'm streaming tonight then. And yeah, I was streaming that on Twitch yesterday, or on Tuesday. Yes, today it would be Tuesday, but by Saturday it would still be Tuesday. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, point of the matter is, if you want a good multiplayer shooter that also has space combat in it, then you really need to try out Angels Fall First. It's a little rough around the edges, and there are some like texturing issues here and there, and I'm pretty sure I encountered like a lighting issue and things at one point when one of the maps started up. But this is a really good game, and it is really underrated. It's not really... it's kind of a little bit on the dead side, but that's only because the developers are just trying to get the game finished at this point. And then I think that they are going to concentrate on getting the word out and saying, hey, we made this thing, here you go. But if you want to pick it up now, I would strongly suggest that you do. It's really cheap. It's under $20 or under £15 if you're British. I don't know what the Australian dollar equivalent of that would be.
AUS.
Well, I know it would be Australian dollars, but I
That's
don't.
why I said AUS.
Yeah, but go look it up on Steam. What price is it for you on Steam?
Hold on. I'm just doing a quick poll on Warframe for new cosmetics from the workshop.
You're playing Warframe at the moment?
No. I'm going through the workshop.
Oh, you're going through going through the workshop. Okay then. Multitasking, huh?
All right, done. I've passed the thing. All right, store.
Angels Fall first. I was a bit curious about their choice of title. I don't know why they came up with that, because when I first heard it, I thought it was like one of those games that was just like, oh, you know, it's one of these sort of side-scrolling RPG, something kind of similar to Undertale.
All right, it's 25 AUS dollars.
Okay then. So yes, if you live in Australia, 25 Australian dollars. It's like,
how much is it for America?
I think it's like $17.99. And the funny thing is, for over here in Britain, the price for this game is £13.37. It is literally a elite price. Because 1137. No, 1337. Mouth. Listen to brain before you open. Then put words out that make sense. Okay? Okay. But yeah, I was having... No, put this. But yeah, I was having real fun with this game. The best thing about the space combat in this is not only do you get to customize quite literally everything about your character, including what colors they have on their armor, but when you're in some of the bigger ships like the corvettes, the frigates, and the sort of big capital ships, you can actually get out and walk around while the battle's still going on. So it's not one of these things where you're like, oh, you know, you can like walk around in the ship, and then once you sort of get into the fight, that's it. You're stuck in like a name of a faceless ship with a voice or something. No, if you want to get out and repair something while the ship is flying around, you can do that. And that is pretty amazing. I gotta admit, that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Speaking of which, of games, I finally just realized I do have something to add.
Mm-hmm.
I re-downloaded Space Engineers in the hopes that I'll try some of that again with you at some point.
Yes, I do remember you mentioning that a couple of days ago. But yeah, it's been a long time since we've played Space Engineers. I haven't touched it in ages, mostly because once you've done the whole sort of build a base and survive, it's kind of like, you know, what more can you do, really?
Yeah, I need to re-look up the basics of survival again, though, because I did try it by myself, and I ran out of power.
Oh, I never had that problem. I just when I spawn, because the way that it works at the moment, you get a starting ship which has a load of resources in. I was just taking sort of uranium out of the reactor on that.
Was it yellow?
No, it was blue. There's actually a proper landing craft.
Yeah, that one I didn't know how to start with. I went from asteroid to asteroid. I couldn't even find ice. I kept finding cobalt. I don't need cobalt. And I realized I didn't even have a refinery, and I was like, wait, what do I do to build that? Should I build it onto my ship? Should I build a station? And then I keep getting the enemy ship signal. I'm like, fuck, I gotta leg it!
Because the pirates is coming for your booty. But yes. Yeah, Space Engineers actually came out of early access. It's a fully released game now. It's an actual thing. So yes, Angels Fall First and Space Engineers. Both games set in space with spacey times.
Of which, my favorite projects to play around with in terms of the collecting and mining is to set up 2 gravity drives. I set up a spiral one with the lowest density but highest range. So when you harvest, all the chunks come out, but the spiral gravity sphere reaches so far, but I have it set to the lowest pull so it doesn't draw that much power, and I see the chunks slowly fade away and drift towards the ship. And then once they come close to it, they come into contact with a second generator that goes in one direction. towards the collector chute. So they all fall into place.
I'm pretty sure I've actually seen someone actually build something similar to that that was on the Steam Workshop at one point. It was like you put the ship near to where you were mining, and it was like
you
gravity
mean the ship,
was
not the shit.
Yeah. That's what I said. What did you think I
That's
said?
not what I heard.
Well, that's not what I said. So screw you.
I'm going home.
Go you guys. I'm going home.
Continue.
But yeah, there was something like that on the Steam Workshop, from what I remember. I did try it out. It was a very clever design. It was just the idea that as you mine further in, you did have to keep building generators so that it keeps pulling all the stuff back towards the ship. And there was also a method of just sending it flying across space into the refinery. But you have to line it up very carefully to make sure that it it actually goes into the refinery and just doesn't disappear off into the ether and never to be seen again.
The survival gravity thing reaches really far, so I was not having any problems. I just had to be in the general vicinity. Plus, remember, I found out that when it came to adjusting the gravity density, width, and depth, whatever, that basically to tell where the block should be. If you have an antenna, you can then cause it to show up on your HUD, a little green box or spiral, depending on if you're using the sphere one or what. Anyways, you can see where the gravity begins and ends.
That's interesting. I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah, me neither. When I did it back then, you had to do it the cheat way, but they made it official later on.
Most interesting.
I'm glad that they updated the HUD and everything, because I remember when they introduced helmet opening, I couldn't remember again what was the open, the visor, close, and also I had to go into third person to see if I got it on. But thankfully, it's now a permanent icon at the bottom left.
Yeah, so you always know whether you've got your helmet open, which is useful when you're in space. Because there's no oxygen out there, folks. Did you know that there's no oxygen out in space?
Did you know it's also bad to have oxygen in your body if you're exposed to 0G outside with no helmet?
Yeah, because things get quite explosive from what I hear. And I think it's also because of the amount of pressure or lack of your blood boils or something, and you literally cook from the inside out. Or
have you seen Event Horizon?
No. No, I haven't.
I gotta tell you, that scene where the poor boy was blown out of the airlock without a suit.
I don't really want to know. I could just imagine.
They somehow managed to save him though, but dear God.
I'm guessing he was not in a good state.
Funny enough though, it was originally supposed to be an alien thing, but when when aliens came out, they didn't want to end up knocking it off or whatnot. So halfway through the script writing, they changed it to kind of The Haunting. So it went from extraterrestrial horror to alien horror, whatever.
Just plain horror in space.
Yeah, it's still cheesy, and it has parts where it's just like, yeah, oh my goodness. But I still kind of liked it. Mainly because it has a bit of a spot in my heart because of the main character that became the villain. I forgot what his name was. He was on Jurassic Park, the first and second. No. He was in the first and then the third one. He was the archaeological digger from the first one. You know, he explains about the raptors to that poor fat boy that said that it's not scary. It's more like a 6-foot turkey, and he explains in detail on how it would kill him. And he even shows that little raptor claw that he found.
I don't remember that bit. Which film was that one? Was that Jurassic World or?
No, Jurassic Park, not World, the first one.
I don't remember that bit.
But anyway, I loved that actor. I forgot his name because to me he looked a lot very close to my dad in my eyes. So I always refer to him as, "Hey, Dad, it's you."
But anyway, moving on, it is time to talk about some news. I will admit I don't actually have anything prepped this time, so I am going to decide...
Sam Neill. Sam Neill is his name. Wait, no. Hang on. Jeff... Oh, no, wait, hold on. I think that's the character name. Which one means... Oh, shit. Never mind, I'll just link you. This guy.
Okay.
Holy shit, that's a long link.
But anyway,
okay,
I decided for this time we would go to Kotaku, because we can always do with a good laugh, right?
Oh?
So I am just looking at their current... Oh, hello. This is a controversial one. Sega halts sales of Judgment in Japan following actor's cocaine arrest. That's pleasant.
No.
Actors and musician Perry Taki, who voices Yakuza Kyohei Hamura, I'm probably butchering that name, I apologise, in Judgment, has been arrested for suspicions of illegal drug use. According to Mainichi News, investigators searched Taki's car and Tokyo home based on tips they had received. Nippon.com, and I said Nippon and not nipple, because I know you would probably mishear that, especially considering you'd already misheard me say one thing already.
Guilty.
Reports that no cocaine was found. However, Taki was arrested last night and urine tests turned up positive results for cocaine. Taki has admitted to violating the country's drug laws and using a small amount of cocaine. Investors are examining his mobile phone to discern more about his alleged drug use. Sega has issued a statement saying that as the truth was being confirmed, it was going to stop selling the retailer and digital versions of Judgment. Sega apologized for any trouble that this caused, adding that it was adding that it was considering what steps to take next. If that were not enough, it's not apparently, Sega is also deleting tweets about Judgment. Covering stuff up, huh? That's a great move by you, Sega. It doesn't show you that you're not embarrassed by this. But then again, I've deleted tweets over stupid stuff before, so I can't exactly complain.
Still, you haven't reached the same level as a certain green raptor from a certain FA.
He's referring to furry stuff, so I think it's probably better that we do. You know, anyway. It's as yet unclear what this means for the Western release of the game, which is due out in the UK in June. Last year, actor Hikori Niyama was replaced in Yakuza 4 due to his own cocaine allegations. Japan has a draconian view of illegal drugs. In 2014, when pop star Asuka of the wildly popular duo Change and Asuka was arrested for possession of MDMA, Universal Music Japan stopped selling the group's music. Moreover, Walt Disney Japan removed one of the group's songs from a Blu-ray box set of... This is a problem when I'm trying to read something like this. I always try and read what's there and say it, but I can't process the two at the same time, so I end up reading what I think I'm seeing rather than what's actually on the screen.
You're doing better than I possibly could.
Anyway, it removed one of the group's songs from a Blu-ray box set of Hayao Miyazaki's work, as Studio Ghibli has animated the music video for the Change and Asuka song On Your Mark. Besides Judgment, Taki also voices Olaf in the Japanese version of Frozen, as well as the recently released Kingdom Hearts 3. Now I could definitely understand why Disney would be upset about that. It'll be interesting to see what Walt Disney Japan's and Square Enix next moves are. Before becoming an actor, Taki was a musician, co-founding the popular synth-pop group Denki Groove. So yeah, apparently, Japan don't like drugs. And the moral of the story is, Just don't.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs, kids. Drugs be bad.
Wait, have you seen first Fantastic Four, not the recent one?
I think I have, but I don't really remember much of it, to be perfectly honest.
I remember when what's his name, who was the Rockbuster, when they're approaching what's his name's mentioned for the first time. There's a huge audience waiting for them, and Torch tries to tell him to lighten up and say hello to the crowd. He turns to some kids, and their smiles turn to okay, scary. What's he gonna say? He's just standing there for a moment trying to think of something. He goes, "Don't do drugs." And just walks off, and then he just gets an applause from the adults behind. And
well, of course he would for that kind of comment. But yeah, anyway, I think we will probably leave the podcast on that note. So, Mikey boy, is there anything that you want to add before we leave?
I wanted to ask you this, since you mentioned Studio Ghibli. What's your favorite Studio Ghibli film you've seen?
Oh, good question. Good question. There are so many.
I've got 3 that I dance between, but one, just like Jurassic Park, it's one that me and my mom watch a lot together. Me and Mom, we fucking just love Spirited Away.
I like Spirited Away as well. But I think if I had to pick 2 personal favorites, it would be The Cat Returns and Howl's Moving Castle.
I haven't seen that one yet, The Moving Castle, and
it's a good one. That's a good one. You should really watch that one.
I doubt it's the same thing or has anything to do with it, but I remember seeing this book that had a lot of really interesting imagery, like just all these bizarre things. And I remember that there was thousands of it was a book, and it had lots of these different, what it looked like, moving houses designed just like that moving house. They were just bizarrely done. They had legs. They moved around, and there was just ones that were big. There were ones that were absurdly huge. They looked like they had a whole city attached to them. I don't remember. It was an old book.
Sounds like
it
sounds like that film that came out recently, except I can't remember what it was called. You know, where all the UK towns are mechanicalized and roaming around, and they're at war with each other. Can't remember.
That does sound like an awesome concept, though.
Yeah,
I can't remember what the name of the film was. They're moving around, and they're like huge siege tanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't wait to see what Australia is like.
That would be interesting. Anyway.
Hold on. The 3 that I was going to mention, the Studio Ghibli-wise, that I can't pick between. I love Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. I love Kiki's Delivery Service, and I definitely love Porco Rosso. Dear God, the actor they got for Porco Rosso is just badass.
I've seen that one, but it was subbed, so I didn't hear what the English voice actor sounded like. So
I'll show you after the podcast.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway, folks, that is the end of the podcast. So thank you everybody for listening. Actually, I keep saying it. This is the problem. That's my tagline at this point. Thank you everybody for watching, but it's thank you everybody for listening. And as always, Heavy Weapons Guy says,
Okay, enough.